I'm not a writer.
Okay.
If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. If I find my way home, yeah. If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, but you still amaze me. If I find my way home, yeah.
This is the move. For those who.
What we do here is go back.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
I
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Child of Mecha live stream. I'm your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha. And, Bear Guy. Julius Dempsey got it right. Sarge, shout out. Welcome. It's Friday, you guys. Friday. Another week has passed. Thankfully. Whoops. Can't forget that, right? There we go. Now we're good. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Hi there. Hey, if you want one of these cool Bear Guy shirts, man, I highly suggest you hit up www.childofmecha.com, hit the store button up at the top, and you will be transported, and you will find shirts and hats and all sorts of other cool stuff in there. Go stock up. Bear Guy. It's classic. It's a good look. Trust me. The looks that I get when I wear this to the gym. Oh boy. Anyway, just weird looks, not like, hey, nothing like that. Don't worry, babe. Anyway. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we are working with here tonight, Amazon link just below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side if you're watching on Facebook. I get a little bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, so go and stock up. It helps the stream, damn it. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there. Like I said, tools and materials, books for inspiration, camera gear for streaming. If you're into that or want to get into that, I highly suggest that you do. It's a lot of fun. And what else? If you are interested in kits and accessories, tools, and Mecha Decals, hit up our good friends right down here, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine crew down there will definitely have what you need. Brian Bondoc's over there on Facebook. He says, hey, Tim, what's up? Donnie Baxter's over there as well. Bill, Mr. Rushlam, Bill Phipps is over there. Brian wants to know, what's the title of that song during the countdown? Good question. I honestly, I don't know off the top of my head. It is one of the songs, like the stock songs that you can get from YouTube, and I just kind of mixed them together. Yeah, I don't know. Whoops. Johnny's over there too. He says, hello, Tim. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you for watching. And then we got the usual suspects over here on good old YouTubes. So, let's see. So tonight we're doing regular stream. Tomorrow we got Gumpa Talk, and then next week we got 2 regular streams, and then Mechanism next Friday. So that will be that'll be fun. And then the week after that is SCGMC. So only two live streams that week. Let's see here. Tonight, man, we're continuing to work on this Gelgoog head, right? I figure, just for fun, we can throw in some Q&A, right? So if you see the title, it says "End some Q&A." So have at it. If you got some Q's, I got some A's. So let's go. Let's start stacking them up and knocking them down, right? So we'll suspend the.
We have a question.
That's a global we have a question for the entire night. Done? Cool. So if you have a question, here's the format. All caps, question, and then your question. So I can see it visually. Yeah. There we go. And Williams wants to know if Julius Dembski is looking through my window. God, I hope not. That would be weird. That'd be really weird, especially since Sarge lives on the West Coast. Cheers to Sarge. Yes, sir. All right, so I guess we should get caught up. Yeah, let's do that. Camera 2, boom. Here we go. All right, so let's get all this junk out of the way here. And let's save that for a second. Okay, so here's the original Gelgoog head, right? Yeah. kind of ugly. I really don't like it. So what I did was I took a Zaku 2 head, and I am starting to modify that. And here is what we've got thus far. It's still very early on, so keep that in mind, yeah. But you can kind of see the direction that we're going for. It's got a much kind of pointier profile, yeah. And it's a little bit thinner width-wise. Now, that may change based off some of the things that we might do to this, excuse me, later here this evening. But this is looking really, really good thus far. I'm pretty happy with the shape of it. Again, this is the base shape. There's going to be more added to it. We've got to add the mohawk deal and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So this is what we're working with thus far. We got to build up the snout. That will come later. Probably, well, hopefully near the end of the stream, so I can kind of show you how we're going to go about doing that, because that's going to be kind of a task in and of itself. So, yeah. So these are the different heads that we got thus far, right? So, I'm digging this for right now. Like I said, it's still very, very much a work in progress. You know, we've got to build up the snout. We've got to do a little work under the visor here to kind of get that nice little kind of bevel that you see right there. We've got to work a little bit on that. And then obviously we've got to get these little side humps incorporated as well. All that comes later. This is all a step-by-step layered process, right? So we're just basically just kind of getting the raw shape right now. And then we'll go start adding some details and stuff like that. So, you know, you build up one layer at a time. That's the thing, right? So here we go. All right, so we've got our first question of the night coming from Mr. Kyle, Clueless Gunplay. He says, what builds are you going to bring to SCGMC? That's a good question. Right now I'm only bringing Airdrop. But I'm waiting to hear if they have that whip table. Like Freddie had kind of mentioned the last, either last mechanism or the one before that. And talking to Angel, that's still kind of up in the air, like a few days ago. So, you know, if that happens, then I'll probably bring out the Zaku. Because, you know, he's pretty much done construction at this point. But if there's no whip table, I probably will leave him at home. But definitely Airdrop. Yeah, definitely Airdrop's coming with me to SCGMC. That's, you know, 100%. But yeah, so we'll wait and see. Right? Julie says, I have my connections and resources, and I'm a good at keeping a secret. Nice. Brandon over there on YouTube, he says, so tempted to go to SCGMC. Found flights for $56 each way, but I would be in town from 12 to 7, then would have to fly back. Yeah, that's cutting it close, dude. That is cutting it close. Manny, Mr. Mech Dio, looks like a Speed Racer scout helm from Star Wars. Yeah, I mean, at this point, probably. But it won't end up that way. Williams, oh snap, and I thought you were just going to remove material from the Gelgoog head to make it fit the Zaku inner frame. No, we are completely modifying a Zaku 2 head to become a bigger, better, badder hunter Gelgoog. So, yeah. I just don't like the look of the Gelgoog 2.0 head, and I'm kind of going more for a Gelgoog Marine / Gelgoog Jaeger. Maybe kind of a cross between the two. Definitely a longer, pointier snout. And I want to definitely incorporate kind of hoses instead of hey, look what I found. Yeah, Superset must have dropped it back off. Superset over there on Twitch, because he was, I guess, the one stealing all my stuff. But hey, I found it, right? So these deals right here, kind of in the original artworks and stuff like that, were like hoses, right? Almost like power cables for the Zaku. So I want to reincorporate that idea into my Gelgoog head here. So what is probably going to have to happen later down the line is this part right here is going to have to get cut back or shaven down, or hell, even cut off and rebuilt. I don't know at this point, but something's going to have to happen here where it's going to allow us that flexibility to kind of put some hosing in there or something like that. So, and it doesn't have to be long. It's not like it's a Zaku 2 head with the power cables all the way around and everything. It's just going to be very, very short, right? So that's basically what we're doing. Yeah. Let's see. Ariel Abtanala is over there on Facebook. He says, hello, Tim, from us at Side 6. Dude, what's up? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that, man. William Wemsley's got a question. Did you ever consider the Kshatriya arm binders as shields for this Gelgoog hunter? Honestly, no. They're too... They're just... I don't know. It's been done. I've seen that before, right? I've never quite seen a double Sinanju shield deal, right? And we'll definitely modify those Sinanju shields too to make them look different. But I like to be original. So yeah, it's kind of what we're going for. Yep. William Williams says, I will forever wait for your shirt response and then copy your answer. Nice. He says that to Julius. Nice. Good. Probably a good call, right? Let's see. Julius says, that's what I did last year. Oh, coming in. Just kind of made a long day. He says, I was tired, but came home with 2 kits from the raffles. Yeah, hey, there you go, man. And Brandon says, it's super tempting, but I would need to rent a car too, because that's flying into LAX, so it would be a tight, very busy day. Oh, dude, forget it. From what I understand, LAX is like an hour drive in perfect conditions to where SCGMC is. You're better off flying into Ontario. Yeah. It's one half dozen or another, honestly. Yeah. Let's see. Just going to plan on going, I think he says plan on going next year, I think. Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. And then Julia says, what about an Uber? Maybe easier and cost about the same. $80 each way for Uber. Yeah, you can get a rental cheaper for the entire freaking day at that point. True. So, yeah, one of those things. So, yeah, guys, so keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming. We're going to continue to work and everything like that, but keep the questions coming. We'll answer them as best as we can, because tonight, like I said, we're going to do a little Q&A, right? Little Q&A. Hey, there's Kyle. He says, question. Are you aiming for a pointy armor design like the Gelgoog or more curved like the Zaku armor? It's a very good question. At least for the head, it's definitely going to be more Gelgoog. So pointy, yeah, with the mohawk and everything. And there's some design cues that I'm taking from that line art that I showed you the other day, or maybe even last week. This guy right here. There's some design cues that I'm going to take from that, because I really, really like that. I like these vents here on either side. I like the Vulcans kind of midway just in that middle section there. And there you can kind of see that tubular hose kind of design there. So definitely taking some cues off of this. It may not necessarily look exactly like it, but I do very, very much like that design. And that's honestly, like I said before, kind of like the design I already had in my head, and then I ran across that and I'm like, psh, that's it, done. My work is right there. All I have to do is kind of follow that line art. Boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's kind of what we're doing. Yeah. Brandon says, my local hobby store is remodeling and doing upgrades. Also showed them my whip on my high grade Justin. They said when it's done, I can display it at their store. Nice. That's awesome, dude. Very cool. Spider2K2, James 2.0, he says, 2 questions for you. Have you thought of checking out Mosquito Con in New Jersey next year? Yes, definitely. But for the last 2 years, for some strange reason, I always have things scheduled. But hopefully this year, hopefully this year I can get up there because it looks like a lot of fun. So yeah. And he says, why haven't you used the we have a question button tonight? Because that has been, we already got a global one out there in the beginning, just for all the questions. So that was a one-time global use. We have a question. Boom, done. So, because if we keep going, it'll just be, we have a question. We have a question. And that's just going to get old. Yeah. And I'm not going to want to hit it anymore. So there you go. Brandon says they only have model cars, trucks, trains displayed right now and trying to get more Gundam people coming through the store. Yeah, because that's where the money's at. Bro Builder, Mr. Brian, he says, hey, Tim, no questions for me. I'm just hanging out, masking and painting this monster. Dude, it is a monster. It's going to look awesome, though. Kyle H has another question. Will the Hunter Gelgoog have other weapons on it along with the Dormarsh? I've been kind of giving it some thought. Right now, the Dormarsh is the main weapon, the one that's going to definitely be highly featured. Whether it's going to have a firearm, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It really depends on... really depends on how we take this thing. So we'll see. That's a later problem. Let's see. Mike R, he's over there on YouTube. He says, have you ever built a Mechanicore kit? I have not actually built one, but I do have one up on the shelf. The what is that? The Cassie or whatever it's called. It's the what they call it, the Zero Store or something like that. I don't know. But I have one in the backlog, but I've never built one, actually. Let's see. William Wilms, what are you dressing up for as Halloween? Me. Me. Yeah, me. I'm just dressing up as me. Brandon says, why not make another sword and have them crossed on his back? That's easier said than done, and it may not necessarily be feasible with a sword that big. So, and that looks, that looks kind of like, to have a 20, 25, 30 meter mech kind of reach back and pull 2 blades out. It's just, It's been done before. Plenty of times. Like I said, I'm going original. So the Dormarsh is an original design. So, we'll go with that. Leave it be. Yeah. Let it have its attention, right? Let's see. Spider2K2, I think Tim is going as Dr. Frankenfurter. Sure, whatever. Dr. Funkenstein. But that's Shane. That's Mr. Daft Robo, though. Mike R says, the Ziegler is a test of one's modeling skills. Yeah. He says, I love it It pushes you to troubleshoot and fix problems. I think it sharpens the modeler's skills, but at a hefty price. I would imagine so, yeah. You know, the third-party kits are rarely, if ever, going to be as good or as well engineered as Bandai kits, simply because of the technology gap. So, you know, what you're looking at third-party kits like Mechanicore and some of the others, I mean, you're getting tolerances. You know, you're getting, you know, tolerance gaps and just lack of accuracy, right? So it's just one of those things that you got to expect with a third-party kit. And yeah, that's old school modeling at that point. You got to fix it. If it's broke, you got to fix it. Plain and simple. And yeah, it's a hefty cost. So, but you know, and then same thing with what we do here: customizing, scratch building, modifying, all that. If I break it, I gotta fix it. Just one of those things, right? So, anywho, all right. So we've got the head thus far, right? Now, what I did obviously is I built up the shape that I wanted. First and foremost, I put in a 1 by 1 millimeter strip all the way around down here, and then there's one underneath here. And then I also put a 1 millimeter plate underneath of here to bring out that point, right? And then underneath of this plastic sheet, there is to me epoxy putty, quick type. That's basically to get the base shape that I wanted, you know, with the contours and the bevels and everything like that, and the flares and all. Same thing with down here. This is kind of what you would see before I plated this up. And so this is all shaped to exactly where I want it right now. So now what we're going to do, we need to add a little bit of heft and a little bit of width to this. So we're actually going to glue on a 1 millimeter thick strip. So we're actually going to bump this out a pretty good amount. This is just 0.5 millimeter plate up here. So we're going to bump out this bottom section a lot more than the top section. So with that being said, we need to find what thickness, width of strip that we need. Now, nope, that's not going to do it. We're just going to play it safe and go 6 mil all the way around. Now, obviously, that's going to leave us with a good amount of leftovers, but it's good to have too much than not enough, right? Simply because you can remove that. It's a little bit harder to put it back on, right? So we're going to apply this strip. We're going to wrap this all the way around, get it tacked down with super glue, and then we're going to come back and we're just going to trim that up to right along. Whoop, sorry about that. To right along where that 1 by 1 millimeter strip is. Now, we're going to use a solid strip of 1 millimeter thick by 6.3 millimeter wide plastic strip here, right? And we're going to wrap this all the way around. Now, like you can see, this is definitely flexible, but to wrap this around, a little bit difficult. Now, if you've ever wrapped a birthday present, or if you've ever seen your mom wrap a birthday present, and you do like the little squiggly ribbon things, right? And what she does is she takes the ribbon and she runs it across the scissors and it curls up. Same thing with this, you guys. Same thing with this. So what we got, let me show you here real quick. Let me get you zoomed out so you can get a little bit of a better picture here. Yeah, I don't do costumes. So what we've got here, this is just a, you know, old school pin vise that I've had lying around that I hardly ever use. You know, I've just got like a little pin in here and it's vicing it, so technically this is a pin vise. But what we're gonna do, we're just gonna wrap this around here and watch. We're just gonna pull this down And see, that already has a bit of a curve to it, right? And we're just going to continue to do that. That's going to make this strip nice and pliable. There we go. Alright, so now we've got a nice curve. This is very, very pliable as compared to, say, this, which is a lot more rigid, right? And then even for shits and giggles, I'm going to run it right across the corner of my desk here. And really kind of get that curve and that pliability in there. There we go. Yeah. See, that's nice and pliable, nice and soft here. So now we just need to get this just wrapped around here. So we need to get a good amount of length cut off here. We're gonna go, let's see, right about to there. Perfect. Good. All right. So now, what I like to do is really kind of get the curve going in on this thing. We're gonna grab just a regular needle file, right, and really start to get that curve and that pliability back in this thing. And look at this. We're almost pulling it straight back on from itself, right? And then reverse directions. Boom. There we go. Now what that'll do is it'll kind of warm up this plastic and break this down a little bit, and that's why it becomes a lot more pliable. So now we can get this thing wrapped around here really, really nicely. Now we're gonna leave it on the skull, if you will, right? Superset 5 just got home from work. What did I miss, dude? I found it. Superset. I found it. Superset evidently stole it from me, but I found it. Anyway. Alright, so to get this job done, like I said, we're going to attach this with super glue, right? Hey, Gary. Mr. Y-Rag Gunplug, Gary. Hey. We're going to use our favorite BSI super glue. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that off just temporarily here. We're going to hold this with our little tweezers so we don't glue ourselves to this piece, because this is going to get a little sticky. And we're going to mount this just on the top bevel here. And we don't want necessarily a ton of super glue on this, because it'll squeeze out and kind of make a mess. So what we're doing is we're just kind of spreading that out there, just starting to get that one side going, right? And then once we've got that laid down, we can go in here and hopefully that catches. Yep, and it did. Good. Alright, so now we can go back and start carefully laying down a bit more super glue, and then start to press this thing in and get that attached as we curve this piece around. Now, got to be super careful, because you don't want to break your piece, right? Because I've already broken this right here, right on that weak point, right? So that's not even a big deal, honestly, because like I said, I think what we're gonna do is come back and just kind of shave that off and all that, yeah. Alright, and then we're just going to start to wrap this all the way around. Ah. Yeah, careful you don't glue yourself to the part. That's never fun. And it wouldn't be the first time that I've done it. Alright, so now we get our little Insta-set that we put in this little dropper bottle. Shout out to Shane again, Mr. Daft Robo, for that idea. Brilliant. We're just going to start popping that right along this edge. And hopefully that all starts to set real nice. So we got to pop in a little drop right in there. Okay. And that, my friends, looks like we've done it. Now, as you can see, we've got flex right there, right? Because what's happening is this, it's still wanting to rebound back, right? So it's one of those things that we have to work with. We just have to. Chances are, what we might end up doing is gluing a strip across the top here and filling that in, because we need to close up the slit of the visor a lot more, because as you can see right here, the slit of the visor for the Gelgoog is not very prominent, right? So it's one of those things we got to do. All right, let's get caught up with the chat, because I know a lot of people had some questions and stuff like that. So let's get back to it here, yeah. Let's see. Wow, lots of stuff. Yeah, hey. Hey, Schultz, what's going on, man? Burkana. What's going on, B? He's back with us. Superset 5 won't happen next time. I'll make sure of it. Nice. Thank you, Superset. Appreciate that, buddy. Gunpla Fixation. What? Jimmy's here. I'm just here to subscribe to the Child of Mecha. Aw, this fucking guy. What's going on, Jimmy? Good to see you, buddy. Juan, Mr. Crovero's over there on Facebook. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. All the old heads are coming out of the woodworks tonight. Man. Let's see. Gunpla Fixation, Mr. Jimmy says, Tim, thoughts on Cricut machine for Gunpla like Clem does? I'm tempted to get one. You know, it depends. For me, it wasn't nearly the revolution that I thought it would be. Because it can't cut through pretty much anything other than like 0.25 or 0.3 millimeter plastic. Some people have said with the deep cut blade that they can get through 0.5 mil and 3/4 mil and everything like that. I have the deep cut blade and I've never had any success with it. It's also not nearly as accurate as I need it to be. I'd rather cut it by hand. So that's just me. But for big complex shapes and things like that don't need, a high fidelity in terms of accuracy and stuff like that, I think it's probably pretty good, yeah. So maybe for base decoration and stuff like that, where you need larger shapes, that might be a good thing. But for smaller, complicated shapes, I don't see the worth in it. It's just me. Kind of a waste of money, unfortunately, for me. Brandon says, have you ever thought of using a brush with super glue? I've done that before, but I mean, you're pretty much wasting a brush at that point, because once it cures, then you're SOL. So, yeah. Let's see. H. Schultz says, super glue sticks to everything, even its own lid, so it ruin a brush, though a brush on super glue would be great. Yeah, no, I kind of would be, but yeah, he's got a point. Johnny over there on Facebook, he says, have you tried super glue gel? You have more control and it doesn't run everywhere. Yeah, I'm not, excuse me, I'm not a fan of the gel, simply because it takes too long to cure. I'd rather it kind of flow everywhere and do all that stuff than deal with the time, the increased time. And that, hell, I even have the Insta-Set and it still doesn't cure nearly as fast enough for me. So, yeah, I like to use CA glue to work a little bit faster. Just helps to increase the workflow. Yeah. Let's see. Brandon says they sell super glue with a brush applicator. I think I had one of those. I think I had like a Gorilla Glue, but I never used it. It just seemed weird. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, everybody's saying the CA glue would just bond to the bristles into a clump. Yeah, Jimmy Gump Fixation said that. So, yeah, one of those things. Let's see. A. Schultz says, yay, Tim did it. Huh. I try, right? Loctite super glue with brush on applicator, yeah. A. Schultz, have you tried warming your plate up and forming it in the shape you need it to? Yes, I've done that before. Absolutely. It's a little bit more work for something like this than what we really need. So, doing the ribbon trick gets the job done. Couple Fixation says cement is different from glue. The bristles on that brush don't react to the cement. Paktan, as you glue that, it's going to spring it open where it's broke. Yeah. Yep. Right there. It is what it is. I knew that was going to be bound to happen, so one of those deals. We'll get it fixed out. Let's see. Brandon says, I know I'm not talking about cement. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. Juan, Mr. Covero, quick question. What's that Insta stuff you just used? Oh, it's called Insta-Set, right? This usually comes in a spray bottle by BSI Industries. And it's basically Zip Kicker. It's their brand of Zip Kicker, right? I have it in the Amazon link if you want to take a look at it. So, yeah, that's all it is. It's just it's an activator. Gary says, that's it for me. Last 2 hours of work, then weekend. Much love, Tim and y'all in the chat. Gary, take care, buddy. Kenneth Sim, haven't Tim tried the needle super glue applicator tips? Yeah, I've actually tried this little needle applicator tip with super glues, and it just does not work very well. You need a much wider gauge of needle than what I have. Yeah. Let's see. Runus J22. Hey Tim, I have a question. My friend tried doing the Tamiya acrylic plus Mr. Leveling Thinner trick on your website, but it ended up just getting clogged in the airbrush. Is there a specific procedure? Not really, but it has to be virgin paint, meaning it can't be mixed with anything else beforehand. So, if he mixed it with something else, If you mixed it with water, Windex, alcohol, what have you, then that would completely foobar the entire thing. But, if it's a virgin bottle of Tamiya acrylic, then yeah, you should absolutely be fine. There's no real trick to it. Just one of those things. So, maybe that sheds some light on the subject. I don't know. Hopefully. Let's see. Franco358 says, Tim, get yourself some Bob Smith CAD bonder. Yeah. Or I could just rip it off. Garrett Tucker's over there on Facebook. What's going on, Garrett? Dude, excellent tip on curling the 1mm strip. Thank you so much. Dude, absolutely. That's what we're here for, right? A. Schultz, I've used it on Zeonic emblems on my Zaku. It's neat. Love the water warming trick. Yeah. Mr. Crovera says, I will take a look at it, man. Thank you. You are welcome, Juan. Also, the Tamiya with Mr. Color, it might have sat too long. I found retarder to help a lot. Yeah, I mean, but that's what Mr. Leveling Thinner is. It has a retarder component in it already, so you shouldn't really need retarder at that point. Just my thoughts. Anyway, alrighty then. So let's get to trimming this because this is all cured 100% and we're good to go. So let's start cutting back the low-hanging fruit, if you will, right? Now, one thing I might end up doing right now is reinforcing this bad boy right back in here, yeah? Just to get that shape back. And to do that, it's pretty simple. Little half millimeter strip, right? We're gonna pop a little curve in it, just like we did with the other sheet, right? And we're gonna trim this down to about what we need. Let's see if that's gonna be good there. A little long, So we're gonna trim that back a little bit more. And tweezers, here we go. Alright, so let's see. That's the length that we need. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now what we do is we're gonna pop a little super glue. We're gonna flood that bad boy right there. And then going to get this is basically a bridge for this piece. We're going to get our bridge placed in here, just like that. Okay. Get a little Insta-set on there. And there we go. Now that is going to hold. Now the only thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to trim down the inner snout here by a 1/2 millimeter. Not a big deal in the long run, right? Because once everything is on, once this collar is back on here, once everything else is built up around it, you'll never see that bridge. You'll never even know that it was there, right? So simple way to get two pieces or a split piece back together like that. Like I said, just bridge it just like that. Easy peasy. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's move on. Let's continue to let's get this stuff out of the way first, because I'm feeling claustrophobic over here. All right. So let's start with the bottom first, yeah? And what we're going to do is we're just going to, since this is 1mm strip, this has a little bit of a higher tendency to pop, you know, come apart from the piece. So we're just going to take and just kind of nibble at it with our nippers here. And that's going to minimize the chances of it popping on us. Now, if I was to go full bore and try to get the full length of my nipper in there and take all that off at one time, chances are it would pop on us or break the piece or who knows what else. So, by nibbling at it, that will, like I said, decrease the chances of any sort of catastrophic event like popping, breaking, anything like that. You know, popping, breaking, you know, locking, Mr. Robot, you know the deal. Super Glue 2, Electric Boogaloo. See, if you understand that reference, we can be friends. All right, so Super said he has a question. I have to repaint a few parts on the real grade Banshee. 90% isopropyl alcohol is the way to go, yes? So the big question is, Superset, what did you paint it with? What kind of paints? Let me know, and then that will help us help you. Yeah. William Williams question: are you planning to use plastic tube to make the head Vulcans or sculpt them out of putty? Great question. The answer is probably yes to all the above. I have the high-Q metal Vulcans that I'm planning on using to get kind of the little itty-bitty shapes. But aside from that, they're probably going to be a little bit of plastic tube and then putty over top of that. Yeah. So, Oddmeister, what's going on? Thank you for watching. He says LOL. Obviously, he got the joke, so we can be friends. Bro Builder says we are definitely friends. See? Right there. Right there. Clipping plastic to Electric Boogaloo. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Turbo and ozone. Hey, you know what? What's come to mind is we haven't talked about entertainment here recently. We've just basically been working. We haven't been talking about shows or anything like that. So we can do both. Yeah? Yeah, see, Oddmeister, he says, I understood that reference. See? Yeah. Right there. Greg Blair 88, he's over there on YouTube. He says, hey, Tim, love how this is coming out. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Thank you for watching as well. That's awesome of you. Like I said, you know, we haven't talked about like shows and movies and stuff like that, which, granted, we've gotten off in tangents before, but it's still fun, damn it. Okay, so real quick, going back to Superset. He painted with SMS and Alclad 2. Perfect, yes. 91% isopropyl alcohol will rip through that stuff like a hot knife through butter, and then you'll have a pristine surface that you can reprime and repaint, and all is well with the world. So, yes. Kyle H says, Joker was great since we're on the topic. Really? Spider2K2, that final Star Wars trailer. Yeah. You know, a lot of people get bent out of shape about Star Wars and Star Trek and all that, and I understand, you know, the fandom and everything. I'm just not one of those guys, so I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty damn cool. I dig it. Yeah, sure, rocking. So I'm excited to see how they end up the whole kit and caboodle, you know. So. Yeah, it should be interesting, I think. Yeah. Zach Heflin's with us over there on YouTube. He says, hi, Tim. What's going on, man? Superset5 says, awesome. Thank you. You are welcome. Greg Blair 88, that Star Wars trailer got me pumped. William Wims, you were right about that trailer, right? Brian says, Tim is a nerd without the baggage. Yeah, you know, hey. What are you going to do, right? I am a agnostic nerd, as they say, right? I am I'm down to clown with pretty much whatever, right? But Brandon has a very good point. Starting Gundam on Netflix. Yeah. They have UC, and from what I heard, IBO is getting on Netflix here. I guess 1st of November or whatever. So that should be pretty interesting, right? All right, so we've got this all nibbled out here. We're going to come back and trim this flush with the existing base, right? But first, let's get the top bit nibbled off here real quick. Hopefully our bridge holds. That would be bad if it didn't, right? Let's see. Excuse me. Kenneth Sim, what horror show Tim will rewatch on Halloween? What horror show will I watch? I won't be watching any horror shows. I don't know. Shit, I'll probably be working on this on Halloween for all I know. I don't know. I'm not really into Halloween all that much, right? It's just one of those things. I don't know. Just my thing. Let's see. Spider2K2 says, we're all nerds of a different caliber. Yeah. Or nerds of a different color. Or maybe horses of a different color. That's Wizard of Oz. So, whatever. Superstep 5's The Last Star Wars trailer felt like an early teaser trailer for me. Fair. MacDio says, Hulu is the way to go for your Gundam shows. Yeah, they have a bunch of them on there. I don't have Hulu, so one of those things. But I've got them all downloaded anyway, so it's, what do I care? Bro Builder says, agnostic nerd. I think we found your Halloween costume. That's a fair point. Yeah, I kind of dig it, right? William Williams says, question all, hope for a specific actor, actress to be in the Gundam live action movie. Now we're getting into speculation, right? Ransley Clark's over there on Facebook. He says, did you see the Sturgill Simpson Sound and Fury? Holy shit, yes I did. That album is like my new favorite. And mind you guys, I am not a country fan at all. Not even a little bit, right? Not even a bit. It's just not my thing. Not my cup of tea, right? I grew up on old school hip hop and stuff like that. So that's, that and rock and stuff like that. That's more my speed, grunge, a little bit. But I'm going to tell you what. If you've not seen Sound and Fury on, excuse me, on Netflix, you're missing out. That whole album is just fire. That animation is amazing, and you'll be on a mind trip the entire time. Trust me. It's amazing. But yes, it's a great thing. I've watched it 2-3 times, something like that. So yeah, really good stuff. Greg Belair 88. Hulu has a great selection of Gundam, Wing, Origin, 8MS. Yeah, I just don't have Hulu anymore. Spider2K2. One thing I'm excited for Anime NYC is to probably get an autograph from Tamino. Yeah, good luck. Anime NYC is not great at handling the tickets for the autograph signings and everything. They fucked it up royally last year, so fingers crossed for you, dude, for real. Zach Heflin, Kiss Anime is free, and I lost the comment. Has every anime and Gundam episode. There you go. Spider2K2 says Dwayne Johnson is Bright Noah, The Rock. No. That's not gonna work. The Rock's in everything, man. He doesn't need to be in that. Bro Builder, Mr. Bryan says Haley Joel Osment is Amuro. Come on, man. Zach Eflin, just about every anime, but it does have every Gundam series and episode / movie. There you go. Zach Eflin says, metal! Nice. Rensley Clark, it was drawn by the guys that did Afro Samurai. Yes, many, many, many similarities. It was awesome. I just loved it. Sprite2K2 says, Bro Butter, I think that the kid from Gotham who played Bruce Wayne would be a good Amuro. That's interesting, right? Not bad, not bad. Kenneth Sims seems haven't heard much news regarding the live action movie yet. Yeah, no, they're still in pre-production. It's very, very early on. We're probably not going to hear anything about it for probably another year. So, yeah. I'm guessing the first we hear about it is either Anime Expo next year or San Diego Comic-Con. Shit, maybe even New York Comic-Con next year. I don't think we'll hear anything about it until one of those 3 shows. And that's, shit, at least until, what, 2nd, 3rd quarter next year. So, yeah. Be patient. Greg Blair 88 says, Sound and Fury is great, dude. It really is. Zach Eflin, dude. Tim, I know it is dope. Dude, it is. Gumpa Uruguay, I think Dwayne Johnson fits more for Dozle Zabi. Javier, I think you have something there. Yeah. No, I would be down for that. Yeah. Bro Butter says, I'm just funnin', right? Gunplay Miami, Chris, what's going on, dude? He says, new rap is terrible. I agree. Spire2K2 says it was a joke. Ah, gotcha. The Rock is better fit for one of the Tri-Stars, Dwidget says. Yeah, that's not bad. Oddmeister says, LMAO, the Rock slapping the crap out of Amuro. That would be kind of funny, right? Gunplay Miami, Chris says, Tim, have you seen the Fire Squad anime? I have not. MecDio says, what's up, anime? Or what's up, Miami? Shit, what am I doing? Nice. So, yeah, I did a fan cast back a while ago. Just post on Instagram and, kind of gave some of my thoughts. And, usual suspects, let's see if I can pull that up here. Hang tight. Let's see. It's probably easier to pull it up on Instagram, yeah? Where did it go? Shoot. Now watch me. I can't find it, right? Wow, when did I post that? It was a while ago, I guess. Here it is. Yeah. So let's see. Usual suspects. Tom Holland. I think he's too big at this point now with the whole Spider-Man thing and all that. So, Logan Lerman might be an interesting, an interesting pick. This guy right here, Logan Lerman. He's been in a bunch of movies and stuff like that, and I think, just look at him compared to Amuro. I think a decent likeness, and I think it's probably an easier get than, say, your Tom Hollands of the world, right? Because he is a little bit of a lesser known actor, but he can act, right? This one might be a stretch, but Dylan O'Brien, the kid from the Maze Runner movies, yeah, he's a good actor too. And again, a lesser known actor, so it might be an easier get. I think he seems to be a little bit on the taller, lankier side, so I don't know. This one might be a stretch. Josh Hutcherson, right? From the Hunger Games movies and other movies and stuff like that. He could be decent, right? He could be decent. Now, this, again, is going to be a bit of a stretch. Taron Egerton, right? A little bit older, but he could probably pull off the younger role. The problem is that he's been cast in a lot of a lot of bigger movies now, so he's probably outgrown the role in terms of fame. So, again, probably not easiest. And then last one that I kind of thought of was Ty Sheridan. I mean, because why not, right? He's already been in a Gundam movie, right? So again, he's been in minor roles in bigger movies like the X-Men franchises, but he's still kind of a lesser known actor. Might be an easy get, but I still think my number one pick is, I think, still Logan Lerman. I think he looks the part. I think he's got the acting chops, and I think he probably comes in to the studio at a good price point. And he might be able to carry the movie. Might be able to. Yeah. Let's see. Spark2K2 says, love that series. As a former firefighter, it's very appealing, that Fire Force thing. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I guess I gotta look it up, right? Spark2K2 says, wasn't Logan in Percy Jackson? Yes, that's the movies that he was in. Yeah. Paktan says, Dave Bautista is Dozel. Ooh, it's not bad. Dozel needs to be tall though, and I don't know how tall Dave Bautista is. And Dave Bautista is a little bit of a prima donna. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons, I think, with that. And he's been in a lot of bigger movies, so that might be a stretch for the studio. But we'll see, right? And we don't even know if this is going to happen in the UC or an alternate universe or whatever. We don't even know the plot line yet. Who knows? It could be completely original. They could just completely shit the bed, and go fucking what was that terrible one that the Canadians did? The one that everyone has disavowed at this point, even Bandai. Shit, I can't even remember the name of it now. Oh well, probably better off that way, yeah. Let's see. Brobutter says, I could see Dylan as Bright. He might be a little too young for Bright. I think Bright needs a little bit of a more mature actor. G Savior, thank you, Javier. Yeah, that train wreck. Let's see. Gunplay Miami, meh for Josh. Yeah, Josh Hutcherson. That was kind of a weak one on mine, but you never know. He could clean himself up and kind of look the part. Who knows? Spark2K2, James says, dude, Taron Egerton is a good actor. Loved him in both Kingsman movies. Dude, I know, right? He is very good. But William Wilm says, he failed me in that Robin Hood thing he did. I haven't even seen that yet, so I just heard it was terrible. So I'm probably not going to watch it. James says, agreed. That movie bored me after 15 minutes into it. Jesus. Lynn says, Taron Egerton only if it's the Gundam musical. Anyway. Let's see. MacDio says, nah, McLovin all the way. Right, there you go. Superset 5, he's got a question. I plan to use some panel line natches? Do you mean notches? As red and green navigation lights. I only have SMS fluorescent paint. Am I able to thin it down to use it as accent panel line paint? I would not do that if I was you, because this is the problem that you run into. If you thin it down too much, then you're going to have thinner. If you put that on the same type of paint that you've already done, it's just going to affect the underlying coats and make a mess. I would not do that. I would do hard pass. Hard pass. You got to go another way. Either acrylic. thinned with like water or something like that, like a watercolor. I've used watercolor, like concentrated watercolor fluid in the past, or enamel or something like that. But don't use the same type of paint that you painted with. That's a bad idea, and you're just basically asking for trouble at that point. So yeah, don't do that, Superset. Hard pass. Spider2K2 says, for all we know, it could be a Gunpla Builders movie. God, I hope not. If they want it to fail and get the insurance money on it, then that's one way to do it. Ransley Clark also said, G Savior. Thank you, Ransley. Appreciate that, buddy. Dwidge just said, then having some of the bigger names might bring it a bit of influx to the franchise. Yeah. But the thing that we have to remember is this is Legendary Studios, man, and they're not exactly known for big gets. Legendary did the Pacific Rim movies, right? So the first one tanked like a lead brick. Idris Elba, I think, was their biggest name in that movie at the time. So he didn't come back for the second one, that's for sure. I think they're going to spend money on it. I don't think they're going to spend a ludicrous amount of money on it, though. You have to think the amount of money, the budget that they're going to put forth, an overwhelming majority of that's probably going to go to CGI. So, yeah. One of those things. They're not going to have a lot of money for actors. Hopefully they get somebody good that can act. We'll see. William Williams says, it could be a live-action version of Reconquista in G. God, I fucking hope not either. Ranger Chris 61, he's over there on YouTube. What's up, Chris? Don't go with acrylics. Have tried before. It was a disaster. Acrylics mixed with like water-based acrylics may not be terrible, as long as you have a lacquer-based, clear coat. As long as it's not alcohol-based. Alcohol-based will strip that shit up. Like, just don't. Yeah, enamel's the way to go, dude. Just bite the bullet. Julio, Mr. Clip and Nubs, what up? Dude, you're just in time. We're talking about TV and movies. And totally on a tangent at this point because we've completely given up. Manny says, what about Asa Butterfield from Ender's Game? I liked Asa Butterfield, but I don't think he's the right kid for Amuro. I don't think he's got that star power, that gravitas that Amuro, the character of Amuro, needs. Spire2K2 says, don't forget about Ron Perlman. Dude, Ron Perlman is great and all, but he wasn't nearly as big a name as Idris Elba when the first Pacific Rim came out, and his stock has only dropped after that at this point, so where Idris Elba's has obviously increased. William Williams says, I think Asher Angel the kid that played Billy Batson in Shazam, would make a great Gundam pilot in the original Gundam story. That's an interesting theory too. Yeah. It could be. Yeah. Depends on how much he matures from now until when it goes into full production, right? Because you run the risk of him maturing too quickly over the time of the shoot, and that could really fuck up a production. But I don't hate that idea. Yeah. Spy2KC says, haven't seen much of Asa Butterfield lately. Yeah, he hasn't been in a ton. Zero Kai, what's going on, man? Nick Offerman is Ramba Rao, a.k.a. This is No Zaku Boy. Yeah. Actually, I think that would be a fucking kick-ass kind of cameo. I think that would be perfect. I think he would be perfect. He's got acting chops. I don't care what anybody says about Ron Perlman. He's got acting chops. Dwidge says, I say it's going to be a good toss-up between UC and 00 series. Yeah. Pacific Rim drew 411 million at the box office. Not terrible for a live-action real robot movie. Yeah, no, it did respectably well. It just got panned. And then the second one wasn't. The second one I liked, but it didn't have a lot of star power in it. It didn't. Julio Ponte, yo, Watchmen, dude, yes. The first episode of Watchmen was awesome. So Watchmen has been made into a series, and it's not the Watchmen that, from the movies or anything like that. Is like a completely different retelling. They're not even retelling. It's just basically like a evolution of the Watchmen universe, right? It's awesome. I loved every second of it. So I hope we get a lot more. Yeah. Ranger Chris says, was the tester acrylics and literally threw everything at them, and the base paint gave before the panel wash? There we go. Spire2K2 confession time. I got to watch the first episode of Watchmen at work. I had downtime and I got to watch the whole thing in one sitting. Dude, it was great. Yeah. A. Schultz, speaking of live action movies, Ready Player One, the Gundam scene. Yeah, absolutely. That was badass. Yeah, 100%. So Julio has made a great point. The Watchmen series, if you guys haven't seen it yet, we're only one episode deep, so you got plenty of time to catch up, right? Excuse me. So yeah, plenty of time to get to see that first episode before the second episode comes out. So I highly, 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 highly recommend that you do, because that was awesome. Now, one series that I just finished watching on Netflix was the new season of a series called Peaky Blinders. Y'all haven't seen this show, I don't know what to tell you. Y'all are missing out. I'm just it's it's one. Let's put it this way: it's one of my favorite shows on TV or on Netflix or whatever. It's basically the story of a 1920s, 30s razor gang, for lack of a better term, from England, right? And they're some of them are a bunch of gypsies and stuff like that, and it's just so good. So good. So trust me, you guys, you gotta invest the time in it. The seasons are short. They're 6 episodes long, right? An hour a piece. Trust me, if you like crime dramas, gangster movies, stuff like that, Peaky Blinders. Oh, yeah. It's just off the charts. So good. So good. I told Julio about it the other day on his live stream on Instagram, but he didn't believe me. He's just like, is that a British show? And I'm like, yeah, dude. Awesome. Check it out. Alright, I know, I just realized I wasn't even on camera when I'm trimming this up. Alright, so that's real ugly, but we've got it trimmed up here, looking better. So now we gotta start in with the knife. For that, we're gonna need our eyes on. Yeah? There we go. Let's see. Ashel, speaking of live, oh yeah, we already read that. Definitely check it out. High quality. Or Tom Selleck is a younger Rambo Rao from Origin. Maybe. Tom Selleck's a little old now. I still remember him as Magnum P.I., so he's kind of typecast a little bit, you know? Kenneth Sim, no one got excited for Terminator's Dark Fate. I saw it, I'm just like, maybe. We'll see. The whole Terminator franchise really doesn't do much for me anymore. You know? So, just one of those things. Julio says, Terminator 5, or is it 6 now? Yeah, who knows? Zero Kai. Oh yeah, we already read that. William Starfate has my interest only because the return of James Cameron. Yeah, maybe. MacDio says, hey Tim, check out Big Mouth on Netflix. Okay. Who says I'm gonna watch it? Me too. There you go. Brandon says, when is the next Avatar coming out? How about James Cameron focus on that? Right. Dude, yeah, I wouldn't mind another Avatar movie. The first one was great. Ranger Chris said, should have stopped it with 2. Yeah, Terminator 2. Yeah, done. Over with. Go out on top. Hey, Schultz, well, to be fair, most the Terminator movies are bad. T2 was the best, and they're saying this is just as good as T2. Interesting. But, like, where do they go? Like, where do they go with the franchise at this point, right? Because, what's her name's character is in it, but the Terminator's not chasing after her. It's chasing after some other little girl, and then there's some other chick who's the protector. Where the fuck did she come from? I don't know. Just the whole thing's fucked. Spire2K2 James says, I have a good feeling that the latest Terminator is going to bomb worse than Gemini Man. Talk about a lead brick, yeah. That Gemini Man just looked. It was a cool concept, but I think Will Smith was the worst actor to get for it. I don't know. I think Will Smith's stock right now is not all that high. But that's just, that's just my opinion. Who am I? I'm not a movie producer or anything like that. So, what do I know? Okay, so we've got a big gap right around here. Almost all the way through. This doesn't even look like... Yeah, I don't even think it actually bonded right around in here. So, let's resolve that, shall we? And then get some scrap just to spread this around. Okay, and our good old boy into the set here. All right, so that'll go to work. There we go. Let's see. MacDio says Terminator is going to bomb hard, and we won't see another one for a while. Probably right. Spare2K2, Bad Boys for Life is the one thing that I'll save Will Smith from Gemini Man's bombing. Maybe. We'll see. Donnie Baxter says, Chris Pabs, how you doing, bro? Dude, is Chris Pabs over on there on YouTube? What? Let's see. Oh shit, I forgot to click on the video here on the thing. Come on, Facebook. Damn it. Yeah. Oh well. Hey, Chris Pabs, if you're on Facebook, man, how you doing, buddy? I know a lot of people have been thinking about you. So, let us know how you're doing. Yeah? Let us know how you're doing. Anyway. Julio says, I want to see Gemini Man. Why? Looks dumb. Gemini Man looked terrible with that horrible CGI bike scene in the trailer. Also, they should have only shown young Will Smith and never revealed the older one, William Wilms says. Yeah, I mean, it kind of gave away the farm, right? Julio Ponte says, I think he's home. Oh, Chris? Rockin'. I haven't talked to him since he posted his story the other day, so I want to touch base. MacDio says Mark Boone Jr. as a retired Ramba Rawl. I don't know who Mark Boone Jr. is. Edwin R. say, anyone else waiting for Star Wars? Dude, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, Edwin. You missed out, buddy. Superset 5 said, I found some enamel fluorescent paint on Amazon. Should I also use white first? If you are just doing like panel lines, then probably it's not a bad idea. Depends on how opaque the fluorescent is. Fluorescent, in my experience, isn't terribly opaque. So it can't hurt to lay down a little white. What you're going to do, worst case scenario is it's just going to brighten things up. Plain and simple. Yeah. Julio says, just got my tickets for Star Wars. Nice. Nice. All right, let's check this this collar here, yeah? Oh, yeah, perfect. Solid. Solid as a rock. Yeah. I don't get paid to sing. I just do it for free. All right, so let's get this let's get this going here. We're going to use the Dremel on this bad boy because this is going to be some tough trimming up here. So we're going to cut right to the chase, and we're going to use the Dremel just to get things started. We're not going to do like fine level of grinding or anything like that here. We're going to knock off the high points. Yeah. Edward Leonard, what's going on, buddy? He says, hi, all. Got to stop by and say hi. I will have to rewind. Dude, absolutely. Welcome, and thanks for watching, dude. Edwin Arce, I was out for a while. Should rewatch the stream. Preparing to display my kit at GBWC today. What? Good stuff, dude. That's awesome. Tim taking out the power tool again. You know I got that motherfucking thing on me. All right, here we go. Zip it up. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's make sure we're on screen here. All right, so I'm not going to talk while I'm doing this because I've got to concentrate on this because this is such kind of small tolerance right here. and I don't want to fuck up my work that I've worked so hard thus far on. So, yeah, that means a bit of silence that you guys are just going to have to worry about. It happens. Alright. I shouldn't do that right now because this needs to be stabilized on... This needs to be better stabilized on the inner frame. So what I'm going to do is... Let's trim this bridge back a bit. Just so that's nice and flush with the rest of the piece. And then we'll get the inner part. Whew. Whew. Almost cut myself. Hey, there's Chris. He says, hello. I'm finally out of the hospital. No solid food, though. Ah, dude, that sucks. It's good that you're home, brother. It's good that you're home. They got everything. They got you everything fixed and patched up, I guess, right? Alright, so the bridge is in good shape. And let's see, let's get a mark where we need to trim that down. Okay, right there. Alright, so now we know where we need to trim back for the bridge. And we'll go at it with a chisel, yeah? He says, which Chris was not? Chris Pabs. James, SpiderTK2. Chris says, I'm currently on a restricted clear liquid diet. Damn. He says, not quite. Still have a lot of checkups and examinations in the next few weeks. Fingers crossed, though. Excellent. Yeah. Dude, that's good to hear. That's very, very good to hear, dude. When you said internal bleeding, I was just like, oh, shit. Like, what? So, very, very glad to see that. Now, Chris, I know you were worried about SCGMC. Did the doctors restrict you from flying or traveling or anything during that time? What's the deal? Like, are you going to be able to make it? Or, because I want to see you, man. And everybody else wants to. Like, it would suck if you couldn't go. So we're just waiting on Chris's reply. All right, now we're getting down to plastic. Good. A little bit easier to chisel out here. He gave me the thumbs up. I'll be there. Nice. That's what we're talking about. That's a good thing. I mean, obviously being in the hospital sucks, but man, it just would have been compounded if you couldn't go to SEGMC, you know what I mean? But that's a good thing though. That's a good thing. All right. So I think we're getting close. We've got this little hollowed out section here to compensate for our bridge on the piece that we installed to reconnect the broken spot there on that that collar, head collar, whatever we want to call it. So we'll just get a little bit more notched out here. And what I'm using here is, this is a 1.5 millimeter BMC, and great all around chisel for removing material. I've actually even scribed with 1.5, but you got to be careful. You got to be real careful because that's a pretty thick chisel, and you just got to take it real nice and slow, and attention to detail is everything when it comes to this, when it comes to that thing, if you're actually scribing with it, right? So just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. All right, so let's see here. Chris says, couldn't get me to not go if you tried. That's awesome. He says, man, that would have been a double slap in the face. He says, but thank you guys. Your messages and stuff really kept my spirits up. Kind of downplaying the seriousness, but seriously, thank you all. It was super nice. Dude, come on, man. You're fucking one of the crew. Like, don't even get that mixed up. You know what I mean? Alright, so we need to take a little bit more off of this gap here for that bridge, because it's just a little bit high. A little bit high. And since this is a wider chisel here, I'm not afraid to use a pushing motion with this, simply because this is a more robust chisel than, say, you know, your 0.15, 0.3, you know, 0.5, all the thinner widths of chisels, right? So I've got zero issue pushing through plastic with this thing. Alright. Let's see what that do. That should get us into the ballpark with this, because that, let's see. Yeah, that should be perfect. That should be perfect. Let's see. Oh yeah, money. Money. That is perfect. Okay, so let's make sure we've got all of our tolerances in gear. Boom. Just like that. Perfect. Perfect. Rock and roll. That's what we like. All right, so with that being said, back to the Dremel. Zip it on. Here we go. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, that was fun. Yeah? All right. So now, what we've got is all this kind of good and roughed up, and it's down to a manageable level now that we can kind of take the knife and really get a fine-tuned trim here. We're going to start with the bottom first. And honestly, I'm not even going to worry about the knife. I'm going to go straight file. And this should be good enough, because the Dremel did the heavy work for us. All right? And before anyone asks, no, I would not recommend using the Dremel to sand or anything like that, simply because it's like taking a sledgehammer to something that you would need a scalpel for, right? It's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea, mind you. And you have to keep this in mind. I've been working with a Dremel for 15 plus years now, in that same Dremel, right? So I know what I can and can't get away with that thing. So just keep that in mind. It's a tool that I use very, very rarely. Let's put it that way. Very rarely. Okay. And now what we're doing is we're basically just fine-tuning this bevel here and really just kind of fine-tuning, starting to fine-tune the outer edge. This is, I believe, 400 grit sandpaper. So it's pretty aggressive as far as things go, but this is good for knocking down any leftover super glue, getting rid of any Dremel marks and stuff like that. This is a very, very good grit for fine-tuning parts, you know, when you've got multiple materials, you know. Now we're going to come back probably on Monday, or I'll come back either on the weekend and laminate like a 0.5 millimeter strip all the way around the bottom here. So all what you're going to see, you're not going to see any more epoxy putty. You're going to see plastic straight throughout, right? Superset. He has a question. Got a question for everyone. For those that play Gundam Battle Operation 2, has anyone made a clan named Mecha Army? It's a good question for people. If not, I highly recommend that you do. I won't be on there, but hey, you guys have fun. Max de Guzman, he's over there on Facebook. What's going on, Max? He says, oh, that seems like an awesome little tool. Yeah, the Dremel is great for removing a lot of material very, very quickly, right? But it can get away from you very, very quickly, too. So just keep that in mind. Brandon says, night all, have a great weekend. Time to get a couple hours of sleep before the little one wakes up. Man, thank you, Brandon. Have a great weekend, buddy. Appreciate you watching, as always. As always. All right. Let's see. Let's get this bottom sanded and smoothed before we end for the night. Okay. That's a pretty good line. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the symmetry of this bottom edge right here where this white strip is. Looking at that, and I'm making sure that that's pretty much constant and follows the contours of this particular piece all the way around, right? And it just needs to just flow very, very smoothly all the way around. And so what I'm seeing is this section right here just needs a little bit more fine tuning. And that looks pretty good. Just need to feather it out. There we go. Really good. Really, really good. Get this back section a little bit smoother. There we are. And then you want to look at the overall shape, right? Because you want to look This basically looks like a horseshoe, right? Let's get you zoomed in so you can see what I'm talking about here. This pretty much right there looks like a horseshoe, right? So you want to make sure that the distance between the part that's pink, the actual part itself, between the edge of that and the edge of the epoxy putty is pretty much constant throughout, and that looks pretty good. And then likewise, you want to make sure the width of the putty to the new plastic strip is also consistent all the way through, and that also looks fairly good. Now the main thing obviously is you want to make sure that your angles, your bevels and everything here all the way around are also consistent, and that looks pretty good, at least from what I can tell anyways. So we're in good shape. We're in pretty good shape. Now we pop this thing back on here like that, and then let's get the upper part of the head on here, and let's kind of see where we are with things. Yeah, that's definitely getting there, because the bottom needs to be a little bit wider, because this needs to have that kind of tapered angle, right? So that's kind of what we're going for. But man, that does look good. That does look good so far. We're definitely on the right track, you guys. Definitely on the right track. So, all right. I think that's where we're going to end it tonight. We're going to end it, 4 minutes early. So, it just seems like the logical stopping point. Yeah? So, let's go back to camera 1. Let's wrap this puppy up, yeah? Spider2K2 says the helmet reminds me of a Master Chief visor. Yeah, I think in its current form I can see that resemblance, right? Like I said, it's still the base shapes and everything like that, so there's still a ton we got to add to it, right? But it's shaping up pretty nicely, and I'm real happy with it. I'm real happy with it, and I think once we get the secondary shapes on there and we start to detail this thing, it's just going to take off, and I think it's going to look awesome. So, I'm happy with it so far. Yeah, happy with it. Anyway. Alright, so, you guys. We'll be back next Monday. And we'll pick this thing up. I'll probably work on it a little bit over the weekend. So, it'll look probably a little bit different from what you see tonight, right? But, yeah. Definitely a step in the right direction. So anyway, hey, you guys, if you want one of these cool-ass Bear Guy shirts, go get you one at www.chadamecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You'll find shirts and hats and all sorts of other cool stuff on there. Make sure you stock up. It's getting close to Christmas time. They make really good presents. Tell your family. So go stock up on that. And if you are interested in the tools and materials that we worked with here tonight, the Instaset, the Instacure, the CA glue, the files, all that good stuff, that's all in that little Amazon link down here below on YouTube and Twitch, that side if you're watching on Facebook. Don't forget, I get a little bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it definitely goes to help out the stream, right? Aside from that, if you are interested in kits and paints and materials and stuff like that, Mecha Decals, right there. Go hit up USA Gundam Store. Our boys right down here, Adam and the fine crew, will definitely have what you need. If you want to see Mecha Decals in your local store, go bug the people in your local store to hit up USA Gundam Store. There's a wholesale link all the way down at the bottom of the page. They'll be able to sign up and they'll be able to stock Mecha Decals. And just for the 43 of you still watching, we got the green light for Sheet 2, bitches. Ha! So we're waiting on the quote to come back. Yeah, Sheet 2 is a go. Little bit of a surprise for those of you still watching to the end. What up? Anyway, all right. So you guys, I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. Tune in tomorrow morning. We have Gumpa Talk. Sort of a slight snafu during the show. We learned that John Bias will not, unfortunately, be with us. He got stuck in San Antonio, unfortunately. So he will not be with us. But we will still have a show. I know Zach and Josh were trying to secure another guest. I don't know if they've done that yet. I know they've been sending messages and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see. But we'll be here tomorrow morning. So yeah, we'll be chilling out. Come on back and hang out with us. Yeah? All right, cool. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there. Build something cool. I will see you on Monday.